Who is online? This guy's calling back. What was his name again? He called before. I want to make sure I get him on line 2. Jake, Michigan. You're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello.
Hey, Andrew. Thank you again for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about the phone earlier.
That's all right.
Using the Wilkow School of Logic to turn brilliant liberals into mouth breathers. I listened to your first hour segment where you had the comments about race, and you went into a commercial. I switched over to your favorite rotund redhead on the other channel, and he was talking about the same thing about how he had heard the most vile comments you think he's ever heard from a congressman or senator, and it happened to be about Rubio's comments on the big three making Americans less viable with Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And he then challenged him to a debate, called him a coward, called his office, and asked him to be on the show tonight, went on a 30-minute rant about how that's why we're all idiots, because we can't defend our position.
Well, I would say to Ed, I'll debate you. I mean, I went to college with Marco Rubio. I have the exact same education and the exact same philosophy on economics. Why don't you call me, Ed?
I don't think
I'm available. I'm right across the street. I'm right here. I am literally right across the street from Ed Schultz. His studios are at 30 Rock. I'm at 1221 Avenue of the Americas. They're right across the street. Anytime, anywhere. But, I've seen Ed debate in public, and the word is a-hole. Okay? I've seen what he does in public, and he's an embarrassment to this industry. I swear, I wish I had a video from that 2004 radio conference I went to where he was one of the speakers. It was embarrassing. But if he can be civil for 10 minutes, I'll debate him. Again, I went to school with Marco Rubio. We're the same age, same education.
That's the funny thing about it, though, Andrew, is because he will go after a guy like Marco Rubio and says that he thinks he can get away with saying anything he wants as a senator or a congressman, and that he goes after these radio talk show hosts, and it's not a good way or use of his time yet. He can sit there and spew off anything he wants and not expect to be challenged. But he'll never challenge you, Andrew.
You know what's funny? I have to ask Marco Rubio this. I'm going to have, because, I didn't know him in college. But my fraternity, a lot of fraternities will say, oh, we were like Animal House. No, we really were. And when we were just in trouble, we got ourselves in a lot of trouble. And we tried to restart the fraternity. And our chapter from Florida International University, I think it is, in Miami, is almost totally Hispanic dudes. And our chapter was started by Hispanic dudes. Our fraternity was traditionally Jewish, but a guy who transferred from Lehigh University to the University of Florida there was no other guys in the fraternity there, obviously, and there was a Hispanic fraternity that couldn't get a charter. So he partnered with them, and they created the chapter, and our fraternity was totally Hispanic dudes for like the first, I don't know how many years it was on campus at University of Florida. But when we got into trouble, it was our brothers from Florida International. They came up and they went to the Institute of Hispanic Culture to sort of set up shop in there, and they were helping us recruit. I got to wonder if Marco Rubio is one of those guys. I have to ask him that, because it might be true. But I didn't know him in college. And I've talked to him about this. If Ed Schultz needs somebody as stand-in, if he can't get Marco Rubio, I'll do it.
Right after he called him a coward, too, he said that he would go down to Florida and interview him and act professionally for the interview, and then he would also allow Rubio to host his show, which I thought was real funny that he would say something like that, yet not come after the people who actually have an issue with him and can debate him. I know Rubio can, but he will never come to you, Andrew. You're too good for him.
Well, look, I've been in a room with Ed Schultz more than once. Once he was on. One time it was when they were making the movie Don't Tell Me What to Think, where all the footage is still wrapped up in court like 5 years later. But I was at another radio conference, and I was standing right there when Ed was being interviewed, and I could play the audio for you. He was drunk out of his mind, which is, at a radio conference, look, it's an open bar. That's going to happen. You probably just shouldn't. If you're at an open bar event, don't ever sign a waiver and speak to someone with a camera. Okay? Just don't do it. But look, I've offered myself. If he wants to debate somebody who's 39 years old, who went to the University of Florida, and he can't get Marco Rubio, I'm your guy.
I wish it would happen, Andrew. I love your show. I've been listening to you for 2 years, and can't say enough about how much it makes you use critical thinking to destroy these liberal idiots. So,
well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the call.